Alright guys, welcome back. She heads to the room next to mine.
そうだな。おとなしく寝るか。
I make my bed and lie down. My limbs still feel numb. It might be a side effect of magecraft that I'm not used to, but I feel ready to pass out.
なんだ。本当に。
I'm actually tired. The ringing in my ears bothers me, but it seems like I'll be able to sleep well for the first time in a while. I claw at my futon. It feels like molten steel is coming up my throat. Every muscle and bone in my body is screwed. A grinding sound echoes in my numb ears. The sound of creaking bones comes from within me. What's wrong with them? The bones in my limbs are splitting in complaint, and my ribs are squirming as they're trying to burst through my chest muscles. Agony runs through my entire body. My body feels like it's being crushed by a massive vice from without, but the pain comes from within. I'm being crushed. I'm being pulled apart. On top of my bed, I squirm like a bug and try to bear the anguish. My forehead is hot. My brain must not be able to bear this pain. It burns like a sauna. I no longer care if this is compensation for using magecraft beyond me, or if this is the abnormality that Saber warned me about. But for some reason, I don't want to call Saber for help. I don't want to worry her over something like this. I have to handle it myself. I desperately suppress every groan as I sweat profusely. The clock that I look over at absently is not even at midnight. It'd be easier if I just go to sleep, but I'm sure this pain will wake me up even if I do so. It's amazing he was able to bear this pain. I probably would have called for Saber if that was me. I'm going into a daze. My consciousness is fading away. The pain should go away once the sun comes up. But until then, the fact that I have to bear this pain for 7 more hours is like a nightmare. And yet you managed to. Such a place was not pleasant. Frustration and delusion, envy and jealousy. This place, permeated with Stygian emotions, is cursed. It should have been his, yet it was never used for him.
陰気臭いんだよ、ここ。
He clicks his tongue, but this is all his delusion. A stranger's child spent a few years here and threatened the Mato lineage for the longest time. That's the only past he knows. His father never told him anything, but his grandfather let slip what happened here. His father did not choose him and thought of ending the Mato bloodline, but his grandfather wished for his lineage to continue. So he has no regard for his father, the one that brought him into being and taught him failure, while his grandfather brought him privilege and taught him superiority. Shinji laughs, wondering what his mother had given him. First of all, women are not needed in the Mato household. He heard that his mother was a carrier, but she must have become useless after she gave birth. Something of his mother probably remained in this room. But he has no intention of searching for such a thing. He does not even want to see the organism that gave birth to his inferior self. The basement is filled with decay. Strange insects cover the floor in the depths of the darkness. There should be no more nutrients to claim, but the insects still nest in this underground training area. No. From the beginning, this is not a place to raise humans, but a place to raise insects. Swarms with black wings can be glimpsed in the black. Even the shadows on the walls must be dark, slimy insects. In the midst of that, there's a man that gives off a golden shine, incongruous in the lowest of places.
なんだアーチャー、ここにいたのかい？
The golden man, Archer, does not even look at the person who came down and just stares into the deep.
聞けよ、朗報だぜ。琴峰のやつ、僕らの行動には目をつむるってさ。見どころがあるやつだって思ってたけど、本当に使えるよなあいつ。要するにさ、僕たちが何をやったってお咎めなしってことだろそれ。
His voice is full of delight as he makes his way to Archer. Archer finally notices. The red eyes move.
いや、別に文句を言いに来たわけじゃない。君がどこで何をしていようと構わないさ。サーバントの自由意志ぐらい尊重するよ。僕は他の連中と違って猟犬が広いからね。
Shinji is overpowered by his red eyes, but he still approaches Archer. Even if Archer has an ominous presence, he is only a servant. And that kind of thinking is what may get you killed. Therefore, he maintains his arrogance. He shows deference, but still makes known who stands superior.
そうか。琴峰は随分とお前を買っているようだな。
ああ、何でもじいさんには借りがあるんだって。得体の知れない三流埋寿師が残るより、僕のように歴史のある血筋が勝利すべきとか言ってたな。そんなの当然じゃないか。何を今更って気はするけど、まあ人を見る目だけはあるよ。一応世話になったしさ。聖杯を手に入れたら例の一つでもやろうかって思案中。
His joyful snicker echoes.
それじゃあ始めようかアーチャー。もう人目を気にする必要もないんだ。手っ取り早く殺しまくってさ、じゃんじゃん魂を食べて強くなってよ。そうしたら次はあいつらだ。目障りなセイバーを潰してエミヤにお礼参りをしないとね。
He pats Archer on the shoulder. Archer watches his hand as if he's been touched by something unpleasant.
何？ほら、行くって言ってるんだよアーチャー。どこの英雄だろうが、サーバントってのはマスターの命令には絶対服従なんだろ。
He must have imagined making Saber submit to him and having his friend crawl on the ground. He makes his orders with high spirits, but the golden man doesn't move.
シンジ、お前は聖杯というものを理解していない。
He calls his master by his name for the first time.
聖杯が欲しいのなら他のマスターなど放っておけ。連中は所詮生贄に過ぎる。真に聖杯を手にするというのなら先に抑えておくべきものがある。
先に抑えておくべきもの。
The boy Shinji Mato looks at his servant timidly. His feet shuffle back unconsciously, and the hand that was on Archer's shoulder is no longer there.
まずはそれを手に入れようか。俺は聖杯を手に入れるためにお前に力を貸している。我らにとって共通の目的は聖杯だけだからな。ま、お前の気持ちはわからんでもないが、復讐は気持ちがいい。快楽を求めるのは人の証だ。するべきことを済ませたのなら、お前の遊びにも付き合おう。
Yet amused with himself, Archer's lips curl in a smile. Sensing something brutal in it, Shinji finally feels some uneasiness about this servant's identity. The eighth servant, the heroic spirit that should not exist, the king of heroes, the strongest of them all, a survivor of the previous Holy Grail War.
そういえば聞いてなかったね。
Shinji attempts to maintain his feeling of superiority.
なんだ、聞けば答えるぞ、マスター。
お前の望み、聖杯を手に入れたらさ、お前はどうしたいんだ、アーチャー。
It's a natural question. A half-immortal heroic spirit said to have owned all the treasures in the world. What could this man possibly desire now?
なんだ、そんなことも知らなかったのか。
Archer asks, surprised. He breaks into another smile from this new development.
我は豪勢なものを許す。装飾華美など最もめでるべきものだ。だが余分なものに与える意義などない。
余分なもの？
昔の話なのだがな。10人の奴隷を選び、その中でいなくとも良いものを殺そうとしたことがある。どうなったと思う、シンジ。
はあ？みんな奴隷なんだろう。なら全員殺したんじゃないの？
いやいや、それがな、一人も殺せなかった。いかな人足とはいえ、無駄なものなどいなかったのだ。かつての世界には。
Archer shrugs his shoulders at the irony and steps forward. Into the deep. He lifts his leg over the floor veiled in shadow.
だが、この世界には余分が溢れている。10人どころか1000人という人間を選んだところで、殺せない人間など出てきまい。まったく恐ろしく人間に優しい世界になったものだ。
わけわかんないな。結局何が欲しいんだよ、アーチャー。お前だって欲しいものがあるから聖杯を手に入れようって言うんだろ。なら
Archer doesn't answer. The golden man doesn't even turn to face the boy.
簡単な話だ。多いということはそれだけで気色が悪い。
He lowers his foot into the deep darkness. A crunching sound. Crushed insects dot the dark floor, and more still swarm their corpses. Up the next day. Strike lovers. I slowly opened my eyes. The night that I thought would last forever ended before I realized it.
よかった。体の痛みなくなってる。
I must have not been able to bear it anymore, or it stopped hurting before I knew it. Either way, I don't feel any further pain, nor do I feel sleepy or sluggish. I was able to sleep for about 3 hours, and my mind is pretty clear.
よし。じゃあ朝飯作るとするか。
My bed is wet from sweating. I force myself up, and as soon as I try to stand, my left foot slips. I try touching my left foot. There's nothing wrong. There's no pain or bleeding, but there's also no sensation at all. It's not just my left leg either. I don't feel anything in my left arm. I try pinching the left side of my chest and feel nothing there as well. Has my body still not healed completely? The whole left side is numb, and I'm feeling a strange disconnect, like it's someone else's body. I have had similar experiences before.
銅像で寝違える時だ。腕を下敷きにしちまって起きたら血が通ってなかったんだっけ。
No, this isn't the equivalent of your body falling asleep, man. Yeah, of course. This is similar to that numbing that one gets when the blood circulation in their limbs temporarily gets cut off. Well, I can move it, so I guess it'll go back to normal eventually. Though my limbs react frustratingly slowly, like I'm moving them by pulling a lever, it hopefully won't affect my daily activity if I'm careful. We'll see. I doubt it. I refrained from using a knife this morning and make a simple meal with some bread. My dominant hand, the right hand, is safe, so I can use a frying pan. I cooked bacon and eggs, prepared instant clam chowder for the three of us, and somehow managed to set up the table.
いただきます。
いただきます。
We both bite into the golden bread. Saber nods in approval at the toast and salad. Yeah, it's an interesting seeing Saber holding a rice bowl and chopsticks, but Western food seems more appropriate. Saber is quiet. Though she isn't unfriendly, she does consider silence as a virtue. She's like this especially during meals. It's more comfortable for me when it's quiet during meals, so a breakfast like this is ideal.
あれ
I finally realized then why it's so quiet this morning. That would be because...
や、おはよう。ってあれ？何？今朝はフランス？
Fujine wasn't staying over.
そうだよ。今朝はフランスはカフェマルリー風にしてみました。してみましたんで、黙って食え。
I hand Fujine her mug.
その割にはそこはかとなくインスタントの匂いがするよ、シロ。
気のせいだ。起きたばっかりだから鼻が利かないんだろ。
そっか、言われてみればそうかも。あ、セイバーちゃんもおはよう。昨日は帰れなくてごめんね。
Fujine gulps down hot clam chowder like a sports drink. She must have had some kind of special coating along her esophagus.
おはよう、タイガ。昨夜は姿が見えませんでしたが、何かあったのですか？ちょっとお仕事じゃないか。単にお見舞いに回ってるだけなんだけどね。それも昨日で終わったから、今日からはまたのんびりできるなり。
She puts margarine on her toast. Though it doesn't really matter. Fujine doesn't use butter for some reason. I try asking why, but I feel like I get some sort of stupid response. I'll table that for another day.
なあ、藤根。入院したやつで重症なのは何人ぐらいいるんだ？
重症な子はいないよ。今は病院で様子を見てるだけで、週が明ければみんな元気に登校できるって。だから大丈夫よ、シロ。今回の事故は気にしないで気楽に行っていいんだから。
Fujine bites into her toast with gusto. I feel reassured just by watching her. She really looks unconcerned.
そっか。それはよかった。
そうそう。世はすべてこともなし。私も今日の夕ご飯を楽しみにしてるのだ。
That peaceful smile. Yeah, at times like this, I'm reminded that Fujine is still Fujine.
それじゃあ行ってくる。今まで通り留守番よろしくな、セイバー。
はい、それはいいのですが、シロ、台所に食事の作り置きがないようでしたが、今日は昼食抜きなのですか？
まあいや、今日は土曜だから早く帰ってこれるんだ。少し遅くなるけど昼飯時には戻ってくるから、昼ご飯は俺が作るよ。
そうですか。シロ、そういうことはきちんと言ってもらわねば困ります。どうも今朝のシロは気が緩んでいるようです。反応も鈍いですし、何か気がかりなことでもあるのですか？
Saber is too keen, man. You can't hide this from her, Shiro.
いや別にないぞ。昨日の今日で体がまだ重いけど、こんなのすぐに戻る。
Sensation hasn't returned to the left side of my body yet, but there should be no problem as I can still move it. I don't need to make Saber worry over something like this.
まあ確かに悪かった。食事はセイバーの唯一の趣味だもんな。謝罪の意味も込めて昼飯は5銭にするから、それで帳消しにしてくれ。
I wave goodbye and go to the door.
何か今の言いようは納得いきません。私はただ食事を抜いては有事の際に力が出せないと。
いいからいいから。それじゃあ留守番よろしくな、セイバー。
I leave Saber's complaints behind me.
なんだ、思ったより疲れるな。
I touched my numb left foot. It was fine back home, but now that I'm walking, this is starting to make me feel ill. Even if it doesn't affect my movements, it seems to affect me mentally to walk dragging a body with no senses.
これぐらい我慢しないと。この程度、二人に比べたらどうってことないんだから。
Even though she's healed, Saber got her throat crushed and was smashed against a wall. Tosaka was coughing from receiving that blow from Kuzuki. Compared to those two, it's nothing since I didn't actually get wounded.
さて、
I forced my leg to move and start down the hill. I feel slightly nauseous. But on certain steps, I make it down the usual path to school, weaving around like a ghost. And so, school is over before I knew it. It might be because my body still doesn't feel right, but my sense of time is all over the place. I don't remember any of the material from class, and I'm not too sure of what I did either.
まずいかな、やっぱり。
The less that my body doesn't change. It makes me depressed feeling so numb for this long.
なんか感じないくせに重くなってきた気がするし。
My nausea isn't going away, and of course Kuzuki wasn't at school.
帰ろう。セイバーもお腹減らしてるだろうし。
I grab my bag and stand from my seat. Amidst all this, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Though I figure I'll remember once I get home. Once I finish walking up the hill with my numb left foot, I remember that I forgot.
そういえば、遠坂と話をするの忘れてた。
So preoccupied was I that it completely slipped my mind. My spacey, hazy mind. Well, I'm sure nothing important happened since she didn't immediately come find me. Considering my condition, I can just contact her once I get better. Oh, I have a feeling you're gonna regret that.
ただいま。
I call out in a loud voice so Saber can hear from her room and go straight to the kitchen. I'll put the ingredients that I bought in the refrigerator, wash my hands, and put on my apron. The plan is to make cod for dinner. So for lunch, it'll be some kind of meat or poultry. A meal of chicken teriyaki for the main course sounds good, so I get to work on that.
シロ、帰ったのですか？
Saber must have heard the noise as she comes in from the porch.
ああ、遅くなってすまない。すぐに飯にするから休んでいてくれ。セイバーもお腹減って。
Crap! I got distracted by Saber and dropped the plate in my hand.
シロ、食器が割れていますが。
うん。皿を割るなんて初めてだ。
I'm surprised myself. Surprised enough to say something stupid too.
すまん。すぐに片付けるから、セイバーは気にせず座っていていいぞ。
I pick up a piece. I fumble and drop it too.
疲れているようですね、シロは。いいです。片付けは私がしますから。シロは調理に専念してください。
I guess trying to pick it up with my left hand was a mistake. Well, it was a good lesson. My left hand still hasn't begin feeling. I need to be incredibly careful with a knife.
シロ、無理せずとも結構ですから、単純な料理をお願いします。気を入れてくれるのは嬉しいのですが、料理にあなたの血が混ざっているというのは困る。
Well, it adds flavor. Well, I don't want that either. That is a failure for someone in charge of the kitchen.
了解。気合を入れるのは夕飯にして、昼は簡単なもので済ますよ。とりあえずメインはそのまま。予定していたかぼちゃと大根は自重するけどいいかな。
I put 200 grams of chicken on the cutting board and carefully ready my fork. I have at least to make the main dish without cutting any corners because of what I told Saber this morning.
はい。期待しています、シロ。
It's like she can sense my enthusiasm. That has me even more motivated. I'll poke some holes first with the fork to prepare and...
ピンポン？
シロ、来客のようですが。
そうみたいだな。ちょっと出てくる。はい、今出ます。
I scurry to the door. It's rare for someone to visit at this hour. Fujina doesn't ring the doorbell, and she has a spare key. I don't have many visitors, and since there's no houses around, I don't have many neighbors.
誰だろう一体。
Well, it can't be anyone with a grudge since the alarm of my old man's bounded field isn't going off, so it must be one of the young people from Fujina's place.
はい、どなたですか？
I say and open the door. Suddenly. Ha. Well, well, well. My mind goes blank. Oh my god, that look. We stare at each other in silence. Well, Tosaka looks angry. I'm still not sure what to make of this.
遠坂、なんで？
定時連絡エミヤくんがすっぽかしたから。
定時連絡をすっぽかしたって。そりゃ確かに遠坂と会うのを忘れてたけど、そもそもそんな決まり事はあったっけ？
Tosaka glares at me silently. This is bad. I don't know why she's mad, but it must be bad.
すまん。忘れてたのは謝る。協力者として定時連絡は当然の義務だった。
そうよ。状況は何も変わってないんだから、お互いの確認は当然じゃない。
I sigh with relief. It's surprising enough to have Tosaka at my door, but having her show up like this guns blazing might as well be an out-of-body experience. I have to solve this real quick. My nerves can't take this kind of thing, especially right now.
話は分かった。連絡はすぐにするから、遠坂も帰ってくれていい。ここまで来てもらってわざわざすまなかった。
Why are you making such a face, Tosaka?
遠坂？要件は分かったから、ひとまず帰って橋の下の公園で落ち合うんじゃないのか。
I have a bad feeling, and that must have been the last straw. Tosaka, who's good at reading my weaknesses and fears.
いいえ、いい機会だから今日はここで会議するわ。
Oh.
まさかわざわざここまで来た友人を追い返すなんてしないわよね、エミヤくんは。
Well, she got you. Speaks the words of it and smiles like a devil.
ここで会議するって、うちに上がるっていうのか、お前。
何よ、あなただって私の家に上がったでしょ。それに今回が初めてってわけじゃないし、今さら隠すことなんてないんじゃない？
Right. It was Tosaka who treated me when I fainted the night that I first met Saber. But I was confused then since I had just become a master, so it didn't register that Tosaka was at my house. Even if we're in a truce, Tosaka is Tosaka. She's the school's idol and a girl of my age. It's an outrageous situation for her to come into my house. Wait, why is she in the hallway?
じゃあお邪魔します。話し合いなんだから今でいいわよね、エミヤくん。
待てってばバカ。いいのかお前。遠坂なのに俺ん家に上がったりしたら大変だぞ。
いいからいいから。ああ、それとお昼食べてないからよろしくね。
The intruder, Rin Tosaka, comes barging in.
待てってば。この考えなしもほどほどにしろ。
I object in a loud voice, but it has no effect on the enemy. The intruder casually goes to the living room, leaving me confused in the hallway. Looks like you're just gonna have to deal with it, Shiro. Then, still not completely sure what's going on, the three of us eat lunch and then talk about our future plans. The topic of discussion is about Castor, of course. We discussed for nearly 4 hours about how to defeat her at the temple, but the results are not looking good.
はあ、結局正面からの実力行使しかないってわけね。セイバーの話が本当ならサーバントは正門からしか入れないって言うし。そうですね。あの山には霊体に対する強力な結界が張られていますから、私では正門から突入するしか手はありません。クラス的に単独行動が可能であるアーチャーならば多少の無理は効くでしょうが。
で、無理して疲弊しきった体で境内に上がったら キャスターが待ち伏せているわけだろ。そんなのいい的じゃないか。